when we even talk about the 24-hour economy, some of the challenges, and I'll raise them at this point so that nobody's thinking about them. Some of the challenges will be the energy sector challenges, for even the existing factories for value addition and so forth, all those in the value chain. They are going to need assurance of a steady supply of electricity, a steady supply of water, and so forth for their operations. They are also going to need assurance on a steady supply of labor. So we need to make some changes to our labor law. We've talked about that. And in fact, that work is ongoing. This is why the 24-hour economy project, as I'll call it has a secretariat of its own. And they are dealing with all the things that must be in place to make this thing work. This is something that has to happen anyway. We cannot continue to be hit by external shocks all the time, where sometimes we have headwinds and then sometimes we have tailwinds, like now that we have gold price very high. So we do need to have a time where what we are producing is able to have stable prices. We don't determine a lot of the prices of the commodities that we produce. So looking at how we can use some of that locally, looking at how to even change the kind of production that we have. What is it that we are producing and is it needed here? Dr. Konedu said something very important, food, and I think I talked about food security. Why are we importing some of our staple foods like onions, tomatoes, pepper, plantain, and so forth from our neighboring countries? Those are things that we should be able to grow here. That is true, but let's look at the reality. There was a study done in the area of cocoa production, and that report was at my table when I was in the ministry. It showed that the cocoa farmers were very aged now. Their sons and daughters who had become well educated were now into different professions. And even those who wanted to stay and work with their parents or with the existing farmers to take over could not see the real value, the return on investment in that field. And therefore, they were getting more and more disillusioned. So the report was seeking to find out what can we do to make agriculture profitable. And that is where this issue of value addition has become very important. Even at the farm gate, there has to be value addition in order to improve shelf life of some of our food. Once we have that, then we know that our farmers can grow food knowing that they can sell it. In the past, we have seen crop farmers crying that they produced onions, they produced tomatoes, oranges, and so forth, and it never left their farm gate. No transportation, bad roads, never got to the market, and it all got rotten. So how do we preserve these things? How do we improve the life of those things, the shelf life, and how do we get it to market? And this is where infrastructure development is key, because once we have good rail, good roads, and mainly good rail, then we know that food can come to the urban areas very quickly. That is where the demand pool is. They want food. And once that food is not coming to them, be it rice, tomatoes, or onions, then they're going to look to importation. So we need to go back to basics on that. Even though the 24-hour economy is, that policy is long-term, some parts of it is short-term. Some part of it is the existing farmers that we have. How can we improve that very quickly? Through the Ministry of Agric, I believe extension farmers are going to move quickly to try and get some of those farmers back on their feet with capital. That is very important. They need capital to buy seedlings, to buy fertilizer, and so forth, to get that going. Therefore, definitely, results are going to be more like 12 to 18 months for us to start seeing some germination. But for now, I think where we are going to see results, which is the crux of your concern, Beatrice, is that we see a reduction in government expenditure.